Welcome to Z's and Threes.
For three for the win, yes!
Your daily fast break assist on all things NBA, scores, stories, news, and notes. Tyler Denning here. Season tips off tomorrow with 2 games, but figure we'd have a little fun before we get there. What does that look like? Who has the worst uniforms in the NBA? These my preseason rankings. No, not a power ranking and where I think teams will finish and predictions that all these qualified analysts will give you. One thing I am qualified to evaluate: uniforms and fashion. Firm believer in look good, play good. So this is the definitive rankings for the 24-25 NBA season. Structure of how we will do this thing. It's the NBA playoff format. There are 12 teams now with the play-ins that automatically make the playoffs. Those are the best jerseys in the league. Tomorrow we will go 12-1 with those. Today's show we deal with the other 18. We will work from the middle out. So we start with the 13th best team in the league, so around that play-in area, and we will finish with the worst jersey in the league, in my opinion. Don't take it too seriously, folks. The jerseys, most teams, 4 jersey combinations this year. There's a city, an association, an icon, and a statement. So plenty to evaluate and get us a 1 through 30 ranking. So today, let's find out who has the worst uniforms in the NBA. Start things number 13 on the list. Think of this as a play-in team fitting. So that's where Golden State has been recently, just outside of that top 12. But what I don't like about the Golden State jerseys, it's too busy. These are obviously classic jerseys that we've experienced, classic moments as NBA fans watching, but there's too much lettering. With the Golden State on the top, the Warriors on the bottom, and the Rakuten. Even without the Rakuten, it's 19 total letters. So with the lines of the bridge and the numbers, there's just too much going on combined with the 2 logos. Be fine with just the bridge and it says Golden State, or just a Warriors for these. I do not like the city jerseys. That is the Navy edition, but the classic jerseys, those are very nice. So Golden State, play-in team jersey-wise, number 13 on the list. Number 14 on the list, the Orlando Magic, also in that play-in category range. Is that where the Magic could be this year? Figure to be much better, and that's the case with their jerseys. It could be so much more. They have phenomenal colors: black, white, that shade of blue, and they have a great jersey history, thinking back to the days of young Shaq, Penny Hardaway, Lil Penny. But they've gone away from that. The Magic font is too plain. It's no longer what it used to be. And it just feels like they could do so much more with their rich history jersey-wise. So the Orlando Magic coming in at number 14. Give us a little bit more, please. Number 15, smack dab in the middle of the list, we go up north, the Toronto Raptors. And you may be looking at this combination of jerseys saying, why? They brought back the Raptor. They brought back dunk contest Vince Carter in the purples, but they don't wear those as predominantly as they do their 3 other combinations. And my question with those, why the wedge? Why the big wedge on the front saying Raptors? What does the wedge mean? What does it represent? Why do you feel that that's the way that you need to stack Raptors on the front of the jersey? It's just confusing to me. And with the City Edition, which goes back to their inaugural uniforms with that Raptor logo, I feel like they could have done a little bit more, maybe like a Toronto lettering down the side to go along with the Raptor. But the VC purples are tough. Toronto, 15 on the list. 16 on the list, the Washington Wizards. And I think, first off, this is a franchise that could go with a complete reboot. Why the Wizards? I know there's a lot of wizardry that can sometimes go on in our nation's capital. It's an election year. Don't forget to vote. We got to change that. But what's going on with the Wizards in Washington? Why the connotation anymore? My first piece of advice would be complete rebrand. But first off, too many stripes in the association and the icon versions up top. I don't like it. I get the flag connotation, I guess, but I'm not there. The city editions are okay. Those are the white ones with the district on the front, but I think that it could use the silhouette of a graphic, maybe the nation's capital, the White House, whatever it is. The statements, those are the ones that look like a European professional team's jersey. I don't like those at all. So Wizards maybe should have been a little lower on the list, because I think this franchise needs to move away from the Wizards, go with a complete rebrand. Coming in at number 17, the San Antonio Spurs. First off, the association, the icon, our classic renditions. Would love to see them wear a gray base as they have in years past. Don't think that they're going to do that this season, but my problems are with the other two jerseys. First off, the statement jersey that has the SATX on it. Spent some time in San Antonio. Never heard anybody refer to it as SATX. I know Austin is ATX. So SATX doesn't do it for me. And the city editions are absolutely horrendous. I know they went that way last year, and there's some history with those ones. And the Spurs have so much great history going back to their ABA days, but these are not it. San Antonio 17. 18, we stay in the Southwest Division, the New Orleans Pelicans. Beef with these ones, the two jerseys they wear predominantly. Too many letters up top with the New Orleans. I would have preferred splitting the New Orleans. You just go with an NOLA. NOLA would be much cleaner, as they have in the past. Maybe incorporate a pelican on the front as well. I do like the Crescent City on the front of their statements. Those are the red ones. But I need someone to explain the city edition to me. Now, I know that I said go with the NOLA, but I don't get the colors on this one. So Pelicans, it feels like they have never caught their wind, found their stride as a franchise when it comes to their uniforms, and have still kind of missed the mark for me. 18, New Orleans Pelicans. Number 19 on the list, the Miami Heat. And I know I've said that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Miami's had a lot of success in these jerseys, but it feels that they're in need for a refresh. Any source of heat fire needs a breath of fresh air, and Miami needs that. Also, heat culture just doesn't really do it for me anymore. So Miami, just a little bland, lacking a little heat. Number 19 on the list. Number 20 on the list. So the last of the play-in caliber teams jersey-wise. So good enough to maybe go on a run, but not good enough to solidify their spot in the top 12. Number 20, the LA Clippers. So here's a franchise that went with a full rebrand. New home, chance to walk away out of the shadow of the Los Angeles Lakers, fully flush the old Donald Sterling era, and this is what they come with. Let's start with the positive. I like the diagonal script on the two that say Clippers, the white and the blue. Those look good. For the statements, those are the red with the Los Angeles on the front. Those look pretty good as well, but all of these still seem a little plain. First off, if you asked your regular fan, most people, do they even know what a Clipper is? And given their history of being the Clippers, going back to San Diego, could you incorporate a boat, a Clipper, into the logo at some point, the maritime theme, as they did in the logo as well? So just not enough if you're going to go full rebrand, but that's really indicative of where modern design is at. And I think that the Clippers just came up a little short, as they have tended to do on the court as well. Number 20, the LA Clippers. Number 21, so this is the lottery range for teams that really need to consider blowing it up. For the Indiana Pacers, it's just that they have a lot that they're not doing anything with. They have the pinstripe looks from back in the day, back in their glory years. They have a P logo or their state of Indiana logo that they could use in their jerseys, but they don't use them at all. It's just this kind of plain Indiana Pacers. I do like the yellow versions, but really what cost them are the city editions that have the blue. I have no idea. It looks like a energy drink, Mountain Dew hybrid, Indy across the front. Just no. I think that the Indiana Pacers could do so much more with their uniforms, especially for a team that's on the ascendancy. Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, that gang, but not enough right now. Indiana Pacers, number 21. Number 22, the Detroit Pistons. The icons are a classic. The blue with the red Detroit on the front. There they are doing great. And props for going Pistons on the front of the associations, and then the aforementioned icons with Detroit on the front. It's the other two that you lost me completely. You have a rich history going back to your Bad Boys Pistons days, and this is what you come with? The black jersey with the DET? That just reminds me of last year and a lot of lost games. And the cream and orange, I don't get where it comes from. Detroit, you got so much. Use the old school logo you see over here on the right. What are you doing, Detroit? Number 22. Number 23, the Denver Nuggets. And this is a case of a lot of bland and one good. The Mile High City in the blue with the sphere, those are super dope. I like those. But the Navy's too dark. I feel like it gets washed out. Don't like that. The white is too plain. Props to them for rotating. Nuggets on the front of one, Denver on the other. And the 5280, it's tired. We get it. You play at a mile high. Teams will get tired up there because it's high. And this one, they wore 5280 last year. They were kind of an anthracite, slate grayish. But the 5280 this year, it looks like a heat map. It looks like a shooting map. It does not look good. Denver, number 23. Number 24, the Milwaukee Bucks. This just feels like a franchise that's never caught any sort of rhythm with their jerseys. It's always been very mid. I did like the years purple, Ray Allen, Vin Baker, but other than that, you have a franchise player right now. You should be contending for titles, and you want to play in these threads. I do like the statements that have the antlers on the side. Everything else just seems like lazy design. Don't like the fonts. Don't understand the blue. I don't know. If you're a Milwaukee fan, you let me know. But for me, the Milwaukee Bucks jerseys right now, they ain't doing much. Number 24. Number 25, the Utah Jazz. The statement and association editions, those are the ones with Utah and then the music note, those get an F. No effort. They're absolutely terrible. As for the other two, the city is a nice ode to the past. The statement twos, those are the black ones with the Jazz note with the outline of the Rocky Mountains in the background. Those ones I'm intrigued. I feel like they could look really good on television. Have not seen them. Don't know if they played in the preseason in them. But if you're hitting just 1 out of 4, maybe decent in baseball. But when it comes to basketball uniforms, especially when your two dominant jerseys are as whack as those two are, it's going to bring you in at number 25, the Utah Jazz. Number 26, the Minnesota Timberwolves. None of these are good. 0 for 4. First off, why the stripes across the chest? If you're going to put the name up there, Minnesota Wolves, Timberwolves, get rid of the stripe. The font, to me, it looks like Area 51 vibes. The other one in the statement jersey, that's the one that says Timberwolves, that looks like vampire font. And what is going on with the city editions? Okay, I get it's the Land of 1,000 Lakes. If you look down at the bottom, that's what's embroidered. That's the idea. But to me, it looks like a Windows 98 screensaver. These are horrible jerseys, all for the blue. I don't like. No good here in Minnesota. Number 26, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Number 27, also Western Conference finalists. Like I said, good teams, people, bad jerseys. The Dallas Mavericks. And these aren't bad as much as they are just plain lazy. The association and icon, it's the exact same design, just with swapped colors. And the statement, the one that says Mavs on the front, It just seems like a waste of a jersey. Just throw something out there. The Tim Hardaway Jr., so to speak, for the Mavs of jerseys. The city editions, I don't know what to think. Those are the whites with the gray Mavs font, but I feel like maybe if you put like a shadow of Reunion Tower, I think most people associate the Mavs, Dallas with Reunion Tower. It'd be a lot better. Number 27, Dallas Mavericks. Number 28, we stay in the Lone Star State, the Houston Rockets. And it's the same as Dallas. You have two uniforms that say Rockets across the front. Kudos to them for putting a little bit of arc in that. But is that what we call design now these days? You just arc a font and use a plain font and just rotate the colors? Just not very good. The statement is the same. You just wrote Houston. It's just all around lazy design. The cities are nice. Those are the ones that have the H-Town reference. But for Houston, I think this is a team in need of a minor rebrand and not blow up, move away from the Rockets, because I think Houston Rockets, you need to stay. But I think logo-wise, you can move away from the R. Yao Ming era, and also colors. Stick with the red and white. Maybe ditch the black. Ditch the gray. It's just not hitting. Houston Rockets, number 28. The second to worst uniforms in the league, number 29, the Brooklyn Nets. My question here, was there just no budget whatsoever for uniform design? A place that is so vibrant culturally, Brooklyn, New York, continuing with the black and white, it's just lame. And maybe it's time to go away from the Nets. I know you think New Jersey Nets, you think back to maybe Jason Kidd, Vince Carter, Richard Jefferson, Kmart, those days of making the NBA Finals. Maybe even you go further back and you think the ABA days, but they're not in New Jersey anymore. They're in Brooklyn. It's lazy design. They've never gone anywhere good with it. They tried the Coogee. That didn't work. They've tried the graffiti font. Just nothing here. It is so plain. It feels like they just threw it into some AI design and said, give us something Brooklyn Nets. So that the second to worst. There is one worse, though, number 29, the Brooklyn Nets. So who has the worst uniforms in the NBA? Before I show you, like and subscribe if you like the channel, like the content. We will be back to our regular format come Wednesday after the season tips off. Tuesday night, 2 games, all things NBA, scores, stories, news, and notes to keep you up to speed. But the worst uniforms in the NBA, according to me, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like I said, folks, good teams, bad uniforms. The Thunder come into this season, expectations through the roof. They are the title favorites outside of Boston. Everybody, expert-wise, has picked them to win the Western Conference. They finished tied for first in the regular season in the Western Conference last year. SGA is the perennial MVP candidate now, but he will have to do such, and the team will have to do such in these atrocious uniforms. It's been the same logo, the same colors ever since they were uprooted from Seattle. The Supersonics, a franchise that had such a rich history of colors and uniforms, and taken to Oklahoma. There's also nothing distinctively Oklahoman about these uniforms. I have been to their arena. I have driven through all parts of Oklahoma. The only thing distinctively Oklahoman about these uniforms is the Love's Truck Stop patch. Also, the orange uniforms. Orange as a base color, especially that shade, is very risky. I don't think it looks good on TV. And the OKC, if you look closely, it's split in the middle. Makes me think of a fault line. Why is there a split? Why is it ripped in half? Is Oklahoma City, are the Thunder, are they splintering? Are they ripping in half? But all in all, 0 for 4 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have the worst uniforms in the NBA. Thanks so much for sticking with me. As mentioned, come back tomorrow as we will have the top 12 uniforms per myself, Tyler Denning, 12 through 1 in the NBA as we get ready for tip-off on Tuesday night. 2 games will begin things as 30 teams will look and set their sights towards a championship of the 24-25 NBA season. Get your day started every day with me, Z's and Threes. You sleep, I peep, all things NBA, scores, stories, news, and notes. A little lighthearted fun to get ready for the season. Come on back, see 12 through 1 tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.